Hello students, welcome to today's English class. Today I'll be explaining you the conclusive part of the chapter Rat Trap. In the last lecture, we came to know that the iron master came to the iron mill for the nightly inspection. He was surprised to find a stranger lying over there. He mistook him for one of his old regimental comrades. Seeing his miserable condition, he requested him rather to come to his manor house, but the rat trap seller refused. He thought it would be like putting himself voluntarily into the lion's den because he had the stolen money. So Ironmaster tried his level best to improve, to just persuade him, but he was adamant. He was quite rigid at his stand. So Ironmaster had to go back. Then he sent his daughter, and his daughter came. She seemed to have excellent persuading powers. The rat trap seller couldn't refuse her, seeing her modesty and politeness. Just he just came to the manor house. At the manor house, he was given a princely treatment. He was bathed. He was given a new suit to put on. His hair was cut. His hair was cut, and his beard was shaved off. And when he was brought properly groomed in front of the iron master by the valet, the iron master got the shock of his life. He realized that in the uncertain reflection of the force, he had committed a mistake. He mistook somebody else for his old regimental comrade. When the person was now standing in front of him in the clear reflection of the light, he couldn't make a mistake. He felt deceived. He felt cheated. He just threatened the rat trap seller to send him behind the bars. He threatened him to call the sheriff, call the police to look into the matter. But the rat trap seller impressed the iron master with his philosophy. First he told that first he said that he himself had not pretended to be anyone else which he was not. He first refused to come along with him, but the iron master himself was quite adamant to take him along with him. Still, the iron master felt that the behavior of that rat trap seller was not honest altogether. So finally, he was threatened that the police would be looking into the matter. But the rat trap seller played smart. He impressed the iron master with his philosophy about the world being rat trap. He told that the entire world was a rat trap, and that particular day he himself was tempted by a bait and was caught into the rat trap, and someday it would be the turn of the iron master and he would also be caught. So the iron master liked these words of wisdom coming from the mouth of a vagabond, coming from the mouth of a peddler, coming from the mouth of a tramp. So he decided to forgive him. He straight away asked him to leave the place at once. But that moment, Adla Wilmanson, Iron Master's daughter, interceded for the peddler. She had spent that particular day quite happily. She had been quite excited right from the morning that she had found somebody at home to celebrate their Christmas with. She had been quite excited with her plans to serve the guest, and coming out of this ecstasy, coming out of this pleasure was quite a difficult thing. And moreover, she thought that it would be ungodly, it would not be right to send a person back whom they had promised the Christmas cheers, and they were true Christians. So she interceded. She requested for the peddler to her father, and requested him to allow the rat trap seller to stay with them for the Christmas celebration. Father, had to give in to the persuasions of his daughter, though he had certain doubts in his mind that what were going to be the consequences of that, giving shelter to a suspicious man who had just tried to deceive them. But ultimately the daughter's will prevailed, and it was decided that the rat trap seller would stay with them. So let's continue. I have marked the red from where we have to commence today. The man with the rat trap said not a word. He only sat down and helped himself to the food. Time after time, he looked at the young girl who had interceded for him, who had requested for him to let him stay over there. Why had she done it? He just couldn't believe. He had always been rebuked by the people wherever he went. He had never been given a kind treatment except the crofter living in the roadside cottage whom he had deceived. This was the first time he was meeting somebody who was extremely kind to him. He couldn't believe why the girl was doing this. What could the crazy idea? He found this idea to be crazy, that you are entertaining a person who has just tried to cheat you. After that Christmas Eve at Ramsjo passed just as it always had. The day before Christmas passed, usually the stranger didn't cause any trouble because he did nothing but sleep. He kept on sleeping throughout the whole forenoon. He lay on the sofa in one of the guest rooms. He spent his entire forenoon lying on the sofa and slept at one stretch, slept continuously. At one stretch means continuously. At noon, they woke him up so that he could have his share of the good Christmas fare. So he was woken up to enjoy the Christmas fare. But after that he slept again. It seemed as though for many years he hadn't been able to sleep as quietly and safely as here at Ramsjo. He had never been welcomed. He didn't have any permanent shelter to live in, and he used to spend his nights on the roads, and such person, how can they have a peaceful sleep? They are the first ones to have undergone interrogation. They are the first ones to have gone inquiry in case some crime takes place. They are always suspected by the society to be criminals or the wrongdoers. How could they ever think of enjoying a peaceful sleep? So it seemed that it was after many years he had got an opportunity to have a sound sleep. So he spent most of his time in sleeping. In the evening of the day of Christmas, when the Christmas tree was lighted, they woke him up again, and he stood for a while in the drawing room blinking. His eyes were blinking as if he still was feeling sleepy, as though the candlelight hurt him. But after that he disappeared again. It means he went to sleep again. 2 hours later he was aroused once more. He was woken up once more. He then had to go down into the dining room. It was the dinner time, Christmas dinner, and eat the Christmas fish and porridge. It's a dish. As soon as they got up from the table, he went around to each one present and said, "Thank you." He was so happy to get this wonderful hospitality that he was overwhelmed with happiness, that he went from person to person and expressed his gratitude towards them and wished good night. But when he came to the young girl, she gave him to understand that it was her father. She told him, she gave him to understand, when she just made it known to him that it was her father's intention that the suit which he wore was to be a Christmas present. So he was told that the suit he was wearing was a Christmas present for him. He did not have to return it, and if he wanted to spend next Christmas Eve in a place where he could rest in peace and be sure that no evil would befall him, no harm would be caused to him, he would be welcomed back again. So he was invited to celebrate his next Christmas with them without any harm being caused to him. So this was something unbelievable. This was something that the rat trap seller perhaps couldn't believe. The man with the rat traps did not answer anything to this. He only stared at the young girl in fascination, in boundless amazement, in extreme, in infinite surprise. He kept on looking at the young girl. The next morning, the ironmaster and his daughter got up in good session, so the Christmas was over. The next morning, the ironmaster and his daughter both got up in good session, got up fresh and fine to go to the early Christmas service. They were ready to go to the church. Their guest was still asleep. The rat trap seller was still sleeping. They didn't disturb him. When at about 10 o'clock they drove back, so they went to church, and while they were coming back from the church, they were driving back from the church, the young girl sat and hung her head even more dejectedly than usual. The young girl was looking extremely dejected. She was hanging her head sorrowfully, in dejection, dejectedly, sorrowfully. At church, when they had gone at the church, she had learned, she had come to know that one of the old crofters of the ironworks, it means the man who lived in the roadside cottage, whose 30 kroners had been stolen, had been robbed by a man who went around selling rat traps. By now, the news reached the ears of the ironmaster and his daughter at church that a rat trap seller who went around selling rat trap had robbed the old man living in the roadside cottage of his 30 kroners. And when they came to hear this news, they put two and two together. They understood that the person whom they had given shelter at their home was in fact a robber, was in fact a thief, and they had left him sleeping at their home that morning. So they feared some wrong consequences. Yes, that was a fine fellow you let into the house, said her father. Now the father got an opportunity to scold, to reprimand his daughter, who had interceded for the rat trap seller and who wanted to give him Christmas cheer. Now he's got an opportunity to make her realize that she had taken a wrong decision by letting him stay at their home. I only wonder how many silver spoons are left in the cupboard by this time. He feared that he must have stolen all the silverware of their home. The wagon, the carriage, the vehicle had hardly stopped at the front steps when they were coming from church. When they reached home, when the ironmaster asked the servant valet whether the stranger was still there, he added that he had heard at church. He told the valet that they had come to know at church that the man was a thief. The valet answered that the fellow had gone and that he had not taken anything with him at all. So this was quite surprising. On the contrary, he had left behind a little package which Miss Wilmanson was to be kind enough to accept as a Christmas present. Instead of taking anything along with him, he had left a present for Ironmaster's daughter. The young girl opened the package, which was so badly done up, which was so badly packed, that the contents, whatever was inside, came into view at once. She gave a little cry of joy. She was quite happy. She cried with happiness. She found a small rat trap inside, and in the rat trap lay three wrinkled 10 kroner notes, the currency, the amount of money he had stolen from the old man living at the roadside cottage. But that was not all. In the rat trap lay also a letter. There was a letter as well that was written in large jagged characters. Jag means rough characters, unreadable characters, scribbled actually. Honored and noble miss. So this was the letter. Since you have been so nice to me all day long, as if I was a captain, you have given me the treatment of a captain. I want to be nice to you. I want to reciprocate that kindness and that goodness to you in return, as if I was a real captain. Since I have been given the treatment of a real captain, I am behaving like a real captain. For I don't want you to be embarrassed. Because I don't want you to be embarrassed. You will become extremely embarrassed when you will come to know that you gave shelter to a wrong person, and I don't want to cause any embarrassment to one of the most beautiful persons I have ever met. He wanted to say by a thief, but you can give back money to the old man on the roadside. This money, I would be grateful to you if you could give to the person back who has the money pouch, the old man who has the money pouch hanging on the window frame as a bait for the poor vagabonds. It was a bait, it had acted as a bait actually. So he had been caught into that situation. And further he wrote, the rat trap is a Christmas present from a rat who would have been caught in this world rat trap if he had not been raised to the position of a captain. The girl had behaved so nicely with the rat trap seller. She had given him the treatment as if he were an army captain. So this made him raise to the level of a captain, and when he reached the level of a captain, he behaved as a captain, because in that way he got power to clear himself. And this particular treatment, kind treatment shown to the rat trap seller by Adla Wilmanson, gave him a power that he could clear himself. It's the most difficult thing on this planet is to confess your guilt and confess your crime, and to admit your crime. So this way he cleared himself, he cleared his conscience, he cleared his inner soul, he got the courage to reciprocate the goodness in the same way, written with friendship and high regard, and he signed himself as Captain von Stale. Since he had acted as a captain, he had shown the magnanimity of the heart, he had done something which he could never have done had he not been raised to the level of a captain, had he not been shown that kindness and generosity by Adla Wilmanson. So this is a beautiful chapter wherein a person with criminal tendencies cleared himself, cleared his conscience, purified his conscience, and he underwent a metamorphosis, he underwent a transformation from being an evil thinking person to a good thinking person. So that is why it is said that kindness pays, rudeness never. He had been treated rudely by the rest of the people ever, and so he stayed a criminal. There is an inherent goodness lying in every heart. It may be innate, it may be hidden, but given it a spark of goodness, given it a spark of kindness, it kindles brightly, it comes out. Every man is born good. Circumstances make him or her bad. So right amount of kindness invested, right amount of goodness invested into a bad person definitely earns rich dividends. So this is the story we have completed, my dear students. Rat Trap, you are advised to reread it in between the lines if you haven't read so far, and prepare yourself with all the ins and outs of this chapter, and enjoy learning. Thank you so much. This is the end of today's chapter. Thanks.